At the beginning of the film, an author named Olivia is sitting in a cafe in New York, trying to write a new novel to maintain the success of her previous work. She is under a lot of pressure as her previous book received a lot of attention. While searching for new ideas, she decides to book a ticket to the island of Haven to celebrate the anniversary of her relationship with her fiancé, Kyle. After booking the tickets, Olivia tries to focus on her new story again, but her fiancé, Kyle, walks into the cafe. Olivia excitedly tells Kyle that she has bought their travel tickets, but Kyle disappoints her, saying that due to his busy schedule, they should break up because he can no longer balance his relationship with his work. A month later, she contacts her publisher. In this conversation, it becomes clear that Olivia has still not been able to start her new novel because she is still affected by her breakup with Kyle. The publisher gives her 10 days to submit the first chapter of the book, otherwise, the release will be postponed until next year. On the other side of the story, in the Kingdom of Rofia, Prince Alexander is reading Olivia's novel. His assistant, Winston, asks him about the story, and Alexander eagerly explains that this romantic novel is very impactful. Later, Alexander receives a letter from Dr. Lee. Every year, Dr. Lee organizes a charity event on the island of Haven. This year, he has invited Alexander to attend the event, but Alexander, due to a scheduling conflict with the kingdom's national celebration, cannot attend. This causes Alexander some disappointment. Meanwhile, his mother, Queen Rofia, has other plans for him. She intends to marry him off to Princess Kazarin to ensure the continuation of the royal lineage. She tells her son that he will meet Kazarin at the kingdom's anniversary celebration. At this moment, Alexander decides to escape from this situation. He tells his mother that he has received an invitation from Dr. Lee and promised to attend his charity event on Haven Island. In fact, he uses this as an excuse to avoid the royal celebration. The queen hesitates at first, but ultimately agrees to his trip to the island of Haven. Alexander is very pleased with this, as he finally gets a chance to distance himself from royal life for a while. The next day, Alexander travels to America and attends his meetings. After finishing his work, he goes to a cafe for coffee. At the same time, Olivia is sitting at home, trying to write a few lines of her new novel. But still affected by her breakup with Kyle, her mind cannot focus on anything else. Olivia decides to change her mood and go to a cafe to drink some coffee or buy a book, hoping to find new ideas for her novel. She picks out several books and, while paying, notices a section of the bookstore where her own novel is on display. At the same time, Alexander is also in the bookstore. As he exits, he accidentally bumps into Olivia, causing all of her books to fall to the ground. Alexander immediately bends down to gather them and kindly apologizes. But when his eyes meet Olivia's, he is instantly captivated by her beauty. He tries to talk to her, but Olivia hurriedly leaves the bookstore. Alexander then looks at the back cover of the book and, seeing Olivia's photo, realizes that she is the author of the novel he had read. So, he immediately rushes to find Olivia but fails to locate her. Olivia returns home feeling a strong sense of helplessness. At that moment, her best friend, Katie, arrives at her house and notices Olivia's distress. She suggests they take a trip to Hyun Island to lift Olivia's spirits. Olivia reluctantly agrees, and the next day, they travel to Hyun Island. After arriving on the island, Olivia attempts to write again but still cannot focus. She decides to take a walk around the island to clear her mind. While walking, she suddenly spots Kyle, her ex-fiancé, with a new girl. Shocked by this scene, Olivia hides behind some trees to observe them. At that moment, Alexander also arrives on Hyun Island, and while walking, he spots Olivia. Kyle soon notices Olivia's presence and, in a nervous state, introduces her to his girlfriend, Tiffany, saying they've only known each other for 2 weeks. Just then, Katie arrives, but Olivia quickly grabs Katie's hand and pulls her away. The next day, Katie and Olivia go to a seaside restaurant for a meal. Katie steps away from the table to buy drinks. At the same time, Alexander and Winston come to take a walk on the beach. Alexander, still thinking about Olivia, sees her and walks toward her. Keeping his true identity hidden, he introduces himself as one of the staff members of the Hyun Island protected area. He doesn't want Olivia to like him just because of his royal status. He then greets Olivia warmly and invites her to go out with him the next day. When Katie returns, she notices the growing attraction between Olivia and Alexander and suggests they all go on a trip together the next day. Olivia, still hesitant, finally agrees. After they leave, Winston asks Alexander to tell Olivia the truth. However, Alexander believes the time is not right to reveal his identity. Meanwhile, Radley, the Queen's advisor, who secretly monitors Alexander, sends his reports to the Queen to ensure that he doesn't do anything to harm his royal position. The next day, Alexander and Winston meet Olivia and Katie on the beach. They have an amazing day together, and Alexander realizes that his feelings for Olivia are genuine. At the end of the day, Alexander and Olivia walk along the beach and talk about each other's personal lives, feeling a stronger bond between them. When they return to their rooms, Olivia feels she can write again. Katie, noticing the change in her mood, is happy and tells her that she knew from the beginning that Alexander would help her rediscover her passion for writing. Meanwhile, Radley, disguised as a messenger, brings Olivia a package. He manages to learn her name and reports this information to the Queen. The Queen immediately investigates Olivia and finds out that she is just a writer, believing she holds no place in the royal realm. As a result, she decides to do whatever it takes to separate Olivia from her son. She orders Radley to devise a plan to force Alexander to distance himself from Olivia. The next day, Alexander decides to tell Olivia the truth. But just as he is about to confess, Radley enters and informs him that the Queen wants to speak with him. At that moment, Olivia realizes that Alexander is actually Prince Rufia. Shocked by this lie, she becomes very upset and, without hearing any further explanation, distances herself from him. Angry at his mother's interference, Alexander speaks to her, telling her that he no longer wants to live according to her wishes. In the next scene, Alexander seeks out Olivia and reveals the reasons for his deception. Olivia then tells him that she truly loves his character and that his being a prince doesn't matter to her. They reconcile, and their relationship becomes official. The next day, Alexander takes Olivia to his father's seaside sanctuary and shares memories of his childhood on the island. Olivia's mood improves, and she begins writing again naturally. Both of them are happy to have finally found the love of their lives. In the meantime, he recalls a speech he is to give at the charity event for the sanctuary, so he asks Olivia to help him write the speech, as she's a writer and can express his feelings better. Olivia writes the speech for him, and Alexander practices, so he can deliver it well. Finally, the day of the event arrives. Katie pulls out several dresses from her suitcase for Olivia to choose from for the occasion. After trying on a few, the time for the ceremony comes, and everyone heads to the sanctuary. Alexander dons his formal royal attire and prepares for his speech, but as soon as he sees Olivia, he is amazed by her beauty and expresses his love for her for the first time. They walk into the ceremony hand in hand. When it's time for the speech, Alexander pulls out the paper Olivia wrote for him and begins reading, but in the middle of his speech, he gets excited and continues without it, speaking from memory and with his personal feelings. Olivia, deeply moved by his words, watches him proudly with tears of joy in her eyes. Later, Alexander tries to get closer to Olivia, but suddenly his mother arrives and says she came to the ceremony to meet and get to know Olivia. She invites them to sit at her table to talk. As the Queen is already seated at the table when they arrive, Olivia notices that the Queen has a secret relationship with Radley as she sees them holding hands. During the event, the Queen speaks to Olivia in a condescending tone because she dislikes her. When Alexander gets up from the table to take photos with guests, the Queen tells Olivia that she is from a lower class and that her relationship with Alexander shouldn't continue. She asks Olivia to distance herself from him so she won't ruin his life, as the people of Rufia will never accept their king marrying a poor girl. Olivia is heartbroken by these words and leaves the event with tear-filled eyes. When Alexander returns to the table, he asks his mother where Olivia is, but the Queen lies, saying she got tired of the event and left. On her way back to her room, Olivia encounters Kyle. He tells her that he recently broke up with Tiffany and suggests that they get back together, but Olivia rejects his offer. She tells Kyle that to be successful in life, one must maintain a balance between work and personal life, then leaves and continues on her way. The next day, Alexander goes to Olivia's room to see her, but realizes she's gone. He finds out through Katie that his mother caused this incident, so he quickly goes to her room to confront her. He is furious with her and tells her he can no longer tolerate her interference in his personal life. He then announces that he is willing to give up his throne to be with Olivia and intends to go to America to find her. The queen tries to stop him and reminds him that he must follow royal traditions and marry a princess. But Alexander reveals a truth he had been hiding for a long time. He tells her he knows she is in love with her advisor, Radley, but has kept their relationship secret due to traditions and rules. Alexander asks his mother to let him be with Olivia because he loves her. He then suggests that she should marry Radley, as every person has the right to live with the one they love, even if they are from different social classes. After hearing this, the queen is convinced and decides to go with her son to America to personally apologize to Olivia. The next day, Olivia is in her publishing office, talking to her manager. It turns out that she has written and submitted her new story. During their conversation, Olivia hears a knock on the door. When she opens it, she sees Alexander standing there. He tells Olivia that he has come to apologize and hopes she will forgive him. He then announces that his mother will no longer interfere in their lives. To prove this, he has brought his mother along to personally apologize to Olivia. He then asks Olivia to marry him and become the new queen of Rufia. Olivia happily accepts his proposal, and in the end, their dream comes true, and their love reaches its happy conclusion. At the end of the film, it is revealed that the story Olivia wrote is actually the romantic tale of her and Alexander. The book recounts all the events and experiences they have been through.